Welcome back, man. First smoke of the day. You already know it's episode 27. We got a real big one with this one. Here with my co-host Black Leaf. It's Pat God checking in. What's good, man? How you doing?
I'm excited as hell, bro.
You got your surfboard?
We're about to interview. We're about to lay down some tracks with the largest, in my opinion, the dopest, largest cannabis company in the world.
Man, with no further ado, episode 27. Welcome my dog, the Tenko.
Boom.
Talk to me, bro.
On, guys.
Team 10.
How's it going, everyone?
I like that even your name has Team 10 in it, bro. Tenko, Team 10.
Yeah,
Everything 10.
Yeah.
That shit plays a long way.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
You came a long way.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people asking us for this episode, to be honest, bro. Like a lot of DMs, a lot of people saying, you got to get this dude's story, man. He's got a real interesting path to where he's at now. And like, I mean, your reach, like, I just absolutely love it. Like the names and everything that go into it are so different from a lot of the other cannabis companies. At first, even for me, and I'm a wide open sponge for this shit, I was like, sushi for weed? And then I smoked the yellow Zushi, and I was like, holy shit, this is fire. And people are like, no, it's Skittles. And I was like, no, it's not. And I'm, as a grower, you can start telling the blue. The blue is so fucking wild, bro. Crystalled out. We just started to see all these nuances, right? We started to see these like Zushi this, Zushi that, yellow, blue. And then there was unbelievable other little, bro, killing it right now.
Thank you. Thank you very much, man. Yeah, it was different type of spin-off to what's out there at the moment.
Very different.
Yeah, very different. And she stands out alone without the branding, which is important. And it's been a great journey up until this point.
Dude, and I mean, to start it off, everyone knows Team 10. I mean, if you don't, I mean, you're lagging, bro. It's fire. Give us the first time you ever smoked, though, bro. I'd love to talk about that, to go back to that first time. Just
Young 10.
Young 10.
Young 10.
I think I was about 12 years old. I already knew what it was just from uncles, my dad, cousins, you know. That was like normal to us. So I had a cousin who called me one day to invited me over, and I just remember sitting in his bedroom with his girlfriend, and they had like Coca-Cola bottles on the table where they would kind of make a hole in the middle of the bottle and then stick the joint.
I started with a Coke can, like Coca-Cola can.
And this is in the UK.
This was in the UK, in London, and I was actually 12 years old, and I remember just hitting it and just falling in love straight away. It was amazing.
Yeah,
that was it.
And that was it.
Passion ignited.
Yeah, and then it went. You know,
what was it like growing up as a young man coming out of UK?
I mean, everyone has a different childhood experience, I suppose. So, like for me,
absolutely.
I grew up with a single parent household. My dad was sort of in and out all the time. So like I was like the older brother of two younger siblings. So I was always... you
had to be the man early.
I was always responsible and sort of had to be independent to look out for them. But yeah, childhood, because I didn't have like my father around like that too much. I was always out on the streets, and
the streets raised you.
Yeah, the streets raised me for sure.
Yeah, I feel that.
And that's just kind of how it all happened for me. Just being with certain people, and you know, like I had a lot of Jamaican friends that would kind of grow weed in their house on the window ledge. They would
end up being mentors, guides.
Kind of, yeah. Like, and that generation
look after you.
Yeah, they would always speak wisdom to us. So it was like a guidance and, you know, be careful out there type vibe. And
OG, that's dope.
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
Proper. That's how it's supposed to be.
Do you remember the first couple of strains you were falling in love with? That first, like when you started hearing the first names coming around, you're like, man,
so
fucking cheese.
When I think back, cheese came after, and so did amnesia. But before all the other names started coming around, we had I know like we had Afghan and White Widow, Jack Herrer, your AK-47s.
Strong strains.
They were like your originals, you know, and Amsterdam was responsible for all those coming to where we were at.
Yeah. Big shout out the Dutch scene.
The Dutch scene was crazy in the early 2000s, and it still is. And yeah, so as I grew up, I became the weed guy. Everyone knew me for I always knew about genetics and stuff. So I was always I was keen on finding new flavors. And so, I mean, yeah, then it started to change as the years went by. It was like sativa started coming into London quite heavily.
Okay.
A lot of the old school growers everyone grows up in houses mainly. And there was a lot of OGs that were around me that would, you know, bring these sativas to me. You had like Neville's Haze.
Long flowering strains too. So you got a long commitment, which is rare, to be honest, for places where it's like highly like illegal back then.
Yeah.
To go like 90 days or 80 days. Most people are like, can we get something at 40?
I mean, I think back then, it was like people didn't even know about
other ones,
seeds to pop at that time as well. It was like auto flowering seeds were available. And you had people didn't want to grow regular seeds. They always wanted to grow feminized seeds because of
less males, less
time. And yeah, I just, people kind of went that sativa route, and it was strong for so many years. Throughout most of my childhood, we were smoking sativas, different settings. That. Yeah.
So that's, I mean, that just shows you too where your preference is and why certain strains now, like Zushi has such a psychoactive, like almost like a sativa smoke. We
was always used to like the heavy pacing strains. So it wasn't until like probably the more predominant indicas started coming around. That's when we started heading towards the couch lockers, stuff like that, you know, when OG came about, and, you know, just kind of evolved from that.
Yeah, man. OG was a big wave out there in the UK.
OG was a big wave, sour especially.
Ooh, sour, bro.
Sour. So like, sour. Me and sour go back a long time. At the time, everyone was, you know, on the cheese, on the amnesia, and there was small group of us that had sour in the area, and we were very well known for it. And when we started to work with the sour, that was really when the game changed, and people knew it wasn't just it wasn't just any type of weed that you could just go and buy. It was like, if you have to know this person that knows me or my people or whatever, like
to get that sour.
And then from then we started processing it and turning it into BHO, which was, in my opinion,
best in the world.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what put us on the map in the extract world.
And at this point, you're talking about your Amsterdam days.
So Amsterdam days,
so we're going in from London into Amsterdam.
I started very young. I'm smoking very young. And then by the time I was 16, 17, I was going to Amsterdam, and not even being allowed in the stores, just kind of going with, I had a lot of older friends, brought with older
which is
homies.
In the culture. I mean,
for sure.
You weren't the only one.
Yeah.
And you're not the only one still, right?
Exactly. And that's
we were
how it
just
goes,
there, and I'm like, yo, where you kids from?
For UK love
This
Amsterdam.
is from France, Belgium, that. It was everywhere.
Great place. And I used to go there, and I used to send my older homies inside to buy me
that's what they were doing.
Bags, and then come out and give it to me, and I'd sit in the corner somewhere and pretend I was 18. And then it started from there. So I turned 18, and then I was a regular. I was every week, every 2 weeks, every month. I was in Amsterdam, coffee shop hunting. That was my passion. I used to physically dream about it. I used to dream about being in Amsterdam, going from shop to shop, buying as many strains as I possibly could, and just sitting there drinking my hot chocolate and just going through all these flavors. And I would do that every 2 weeks. If I knew a new strain got dropped at a certain store,
you were in it like that. You knew what was happening there.
We were driving, 5-hour drive. from London to Amsterdam, and yeah, that's kind of how it started, and then.
That's amazing though that
Yeah.
you're able to travel like how we travel basically state to state, or like we could go from like, you know, the Keys in where I
It's
grew up.
different in Europe.
At 5 hours, you're in Amsterdam from London.
Different
That's so
country.
cool, man. We're not used
Here
to
it's
stuff
just a
like
different
that.
state.
Yeah.
It's like,
Over there, it's a different country.
And you're in
It's so
different
much
language, different
It's crazy,
money,
yeah.
everything.
totally different cultures. Like
that's our Cali. That's the European California. So
Yes.
that's the Mecca there.
And so seeds always were a thing too, I'm sure. So
seeds have always been. I think they've always allowed to sell seeds on the market there. So a lot of breeders back in the day used to come to Amsterdam from California, from all over, and
Yeah.
they were living there. They were actually producing seeds there, and there's a lot of, you know, big breeders, big companies that
the
are
best
around
ones,
today.
to be honest, from OGs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were crushing it from years ago, and all the OGs from my side of town, they would go Amsterdam, go to the seed shops, go communicate with breeders, get seeds, bring them back, and then, you know, a year later, in my town, in my part of London, you know, there was all these so-called Dutch strains being grown in the UK, and that's kind of the stem of how it started to develop. Pretty
Yeah.
much for everyone.
And that's sour. I mean, that's probably one of the biggest strains I think needs to be back on the market pretty heavy and
Yeah.
grown well. So especially for extracts as well,
For sure.
man. I mean, night and
great.
day, fire strain.
For
Well,
sure, man.
talk about the beginning days of Amsterdam when you really started taking the scene serious and like getting involved and, you know, the lead up to you,
It was-
winning some high times and all the awards
Yeah.
and stuff like that for Team 10 Extracts.
I was just a straight custy, bro. I would go. I was like the biggest weed event guy. And if you knew me or you saw me at an event,
Sounds like Blackleaf.
yeah,
I used to hate him for it.
We call it weed nerds, but it's
Yeah.
like I don't miss an
Yeah.
event, bro. I don't miss
You
none of
Bobby
that.
Trill, all you guys.
I'm part of it. I'm in the wave.
Yeah.
If there's a wave, I'm in it just as much as pushing that wave up. I got you, bro.
I used to. I mean, Amsterdam High Times was probably the first one. I used to go, and I was just amazed by the culture and how it was alive. You know?
Yeah, how are they doing this? That's what
And-
everybody feels like being there. Like, damn,
For
I
sure,
can't
it's a
believe this
trip.
is like happening right now.
Yeah, it's
Blew my mind.
trust me, man. And imagine when you're 16, 17.
Oh.
It's like, gee, this is, I can't.
And it's
words can't-
an international
describe it.
crowd. You know, that's what the
from
States
all over the world. Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It's different. But
So
continue for sure.
yeah, so High Times was one. I think maybe 2011 or 2012. I think was the first one I went to. In the 2011, and then
Well, that's way back. We're talking a decade.
Yeah.
and then
Come on.
obviously that went to. I think Colorado was the first state to legalize. So me and Sour Co actually went to Colorado together for the first time.
I was there as well.
Right.
That's
yeah.
hilarious. We were
Yeah.
at the same event together.
That was
I
a
lived
big
out
High
there
Times,
that time.
Really.
Yeah, I was living in Colorado when they had the first one, and we went to it in Denver, and they had the smoking. They had like two different buildings.
Yeah.
The building behind was the smoking
Yeah,
building,
yeah,
and the
that's
one in
right.
front was
That's
the companies that weren't. Yeah, that's hilarious. We were
That's
in the
right.
same building, bro.
And that was my first time ever in the States. So that was a
Wow.
massive High Times, and that's when I really saw the culture in on this side kind of in real life, because I would be on YouTube, type in High Times in Colorado, and just seeing.
Let me really
You
trip
know.
you out. BHO had just started then, right? Like for us,
Exactly.
BHO had it was so new.
Mhm.
I had just started making it with the flower I was
Yeah.
growing, and
Yeah.
I was living in Colorado. That one of the booths at the High Times was displaying my BHO
Right.
because I was able to whip it and froth it to where it was like a gram was like this huge, almost like honeycomb.
Yeah.
And no one knew about this
Yeah,
yet,
yeah.
right? So I actually had it on display at a booth there, and they were pretending it was theirs, the
I
dispensary.
believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
crazy.
but that was at that
Yeah,
event.
yeah.
You literally, there was like honeycomb, massive chunks of honeycomb, and they had it on display under their dispensary. But that's how new BHO was that people were literally able to take it. And that, I can see why. You were literally at the cutting edge of that.
Yeah, and I think at that trip I was already processing, so that was my eye opener.
Wow, bro.
You know?
You started with it then. That's
Yeah,
the
so-
beginning.
That was the beginning. So then Colorado was a short trip. I remember coming back to Europe, and I just upgraded my equipment. Across international when the ovens came out. I think I was the first ever order in the UK.
Bro, that's wild because we had just started in America. That had just started.
Just came out.
And you're already on it.
Yeah, people were, we had vac chambers. I had like 4 of them. It's going crazy.
That's like when they came out.
Yeah, when they came out. And then it just kind of went from there. I had obviously from being so young in the game, I had my connections already laid out. I already knew strains. I had 7 or 8 of my homies that I grew up with that used to grow.
And you would run flower.
Yeah. So I would straight nog run.
Wow.
You know, and it was like unheard of at the time. It was people were like, bro, you're losing your mind. But it was something that I knew the difference between. So it was, a trim run compared to a nog run was a big difference. And I noticed that and I ran with that. And then
it's in the big difference in what counts too, flavor and potency.
Exactly. And, you can try and cheat the game, and then it will bite you back. So, we learned our lesson a few times, but we stuck to our guns and
what strains? What strains were like the go-tos?
So it was the East Coast Sour Diesel that really kind of made a strong mark for us. I had so many other strains. Red Diesel, everyone knew me for the Red Diesel.
Red Diesel.
Yeah, and that was how can I explain it? Maybe you guys might know it as grapefruit, but but it was like times 10, bro. Like,
man, I miss that fucking strain, bro, so much.
I went when I was 19. I was like 2007.
It was then around then probably.
Pat Gods, how different is that from our sour?
Is like my favorite shit when I went.
Cheese is great.
Was the sour that you smoked out there that he's speaking on, is that a lot different from the sour that we used to have around?
No,
Similar.
Yeah, the good cut of sour.
Yeah, the bubbly one that's
real
like
sour,
grows in pods.
Yeah.
So
we come from Florida, so
I mean,
from the south.
We is real sour.
Everyone has a
bang house of sour.
I suppose there's different varieties of sour out there for sure. But
there's the real one and a bunch of fakes.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that what we had was A1
sticky,
real
very
deal. Limes,
pods,
limey, gassy, poddy, ugly, very kind of leafy looking,
all green. Doesn't turn purple. Lime green. You won't be happy if you like
ugly strain.
Yeah,
super ugly. That was the first ugly strain that I realized. That I was like, you know what? Looks ain't that important in this.
Ooh, interesting point.
Yeah,
that was his entryway. Now looking into the Skittles market.
Yeah, exactly.
Another strain.
Yeah,
amazing to smoke. Not a great looker.
Yeah, you go for the heart sometimes.
Yeah. So you're basically all this at the right time, at the right place, and you're crushing fire extracts of sour and all the Red Diesel.
Just ahead of the curve. Really.
And so you start crushing out these cups.
So, a few cups started coming around, and everyone was just like, bro, this is what you got to do. You got to enter these cups. Like, okay, cool. Let's enter the cups.
You got good people around you, man.
Who you entering the cups with? Talk about your partners and stuff, and a little bit of that, like a little bit of the journey of how that. The first cup that I entered, was with a guy called older guy that I used to work with back home. His name was Steve. And he shout out to Steve, man.
Shout out Steve.
We hope you hear this shit.
And
man.
he was, I was
You're
like,
a legend.
I was probably 25 at the time, and he was like 52, older man, and he really knew the plant. And being in London at the time, like that guy was crucial.
That's
to
huge
me.
to have a mentor that much older than you.
He was a great key into the build up.
Oh.
So he used to he would call me up and say, yo, what seed shall I pop? And I'll tell him, and he would pop them and grow them. But he had like 50 lights or 40 lights.
Fuck yeah.
But that was still crushing. So
hell yeah.
And he was like my grower, basically. He was my grower. So everything that he would bring down, he would give to me, and I'd process it into. I remember the first one was in London, I think, the first competition. Called the Dope Fiend Cup, I think it was called.
Holy hell.
And we came first. We came first place on
grimy out there, man.
Yeah, Jesus.
So you took that
Crazy
one home.
name. So we took that one home, and that was
Steve. And that was with Steve.
OG
Steve.
Sour Steve.
Yeah, my guy.
OG Sour Steve.
And then it went to
the Dope Fiend Cup.
Yeah.
You win a big needle. Yeah, that'd be fucking crazy.
So where was I?
In London, you're with OG Steve. You guys took home the cup. He's your grower.
And then I'm still there. I'm still still doing my thing, and High Times, I think it was 2013. High Times award came up, which was based in Amsterdam, and I got there was a guy that messaged me wanting to collab. This was like probably my first big competition that I entered.
This is the OG Canvas Cup. Yeah.
So I remember and they were growers. They had projects going on all over the place. So they would come and bring me the material, and I did like a few test runs for them. They were going crazy, and they were like, "We want to enter the competition with you." So we did, and we didn't place, but I felt that was my whole learning curve. That was the experience that I needed to break through. I knew where I went wrong.
How'd you take that?
Nah,
as a lesson, or
I was cool with it. I didn't feel like I was lost.
What was it
I didn't
like?
feel like I lost.
Like when you embrace it, was you turned it to fuel?
I think the whole networking experience and that was the first time I think I even saw other people's shatter.
Got to get on the field.
America, from all the Cali guys were coming out. And that was the first time I thought I saw Z shatter, because Skittles shatter came first place in that competition. And
wow, that long ago.
Yeah, I can't remember the kid's name. Yeah.
And so you basically saw the field. You said, okay, this is what everyone's doing.
Yeah, this is the game.
And this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
I know what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I can do this.
And so I think what happened was,
Did you get back with Steve?
Yeah, Steve, I still speak to Steve here and there, actually.
Nice, man.
I haven't, physically seen him for 5 or 6 years.
But this whole time, the brand's building under Team 10 Extracts.
So the brand's building, other people that I mentioned previous were sort of involved in the team.
Making sure that the right flavors got
exactly.
Run. Hell yeah.
Yeah. And so I go to, after that.
But you knocked down some competitions. You basically took it as fuel and then said, what, did you come back the next year?
I think I come back sooner than that, but I don't think I entered High Times again. I think I entered, it was like Dabadoo.
Yeah.
Dabadoo came around.
Mila's,
which is in
Mila's
Barcelona, right?
Shout out Mila.
Yeah, shout out Mila. And I think I came 3rd place the first time, which was cool. And then I think the first breakthrough really was in Barcelona when we entered the Secret Cup.
That's a big one. That's a great one too.
Yeah, so they came from California to Spain, and it was, I think, the runners up were each winner from each state. So whoever won 1st, 2nd, and 3rd were placed in the final, basically. And I think Spain was like the semi-final or the quarter-final.
And to set the stage for people, like at that time, the event he's talking about, this is the best guys making BHO in the whole world at this point. This is at the cutting edge of when it first started, a couple years in, when people were realizing they could do live resin, nug run. They knew how to actually purge it right. And people were just learning, like, this is the best of the best. This is the first extracts that were actually of like that type, that were solvent extracts that looked and smelled and tasted like that. It wasn't bubble. This was something so different.
Yeah.
And you're in this competition with the best guys who have already won a competition before this and now are coming in with even better material, because it's like winning a competition and now you're entered in the best cut. Now all the winners come together and now you're facing the best winners.
I was the little guy for sure.
Oh man, this is crazy.
Sure, I was the little guy. And
so what did you enter?
So I entered, we had Headbanger by Karma Genetics.
Oh, gas and sweet and sour.
Till this day, it's probably one of my favorite strains in the world.
Straight nug run. Live resin or not live resin?
Not live. It was
live.
That batch was cured for like a week off the stem.
People don't even know about that. Sometimes there's differences. Some strains do better the other way. You don't know.
They do. Yeah. And we came 1st place. So we kind of we beat everyone that I would sort of admire or look up to. Don't know if I should say the names, but
you don't have to if you don't want to. But
so
not if you're gonna make us cut it out.
Not if we have to chop it. Yeah.
So and then that's kind of how it started. So as I received my award, I was unaware that we had been placed in the final in Los Angeles. I was like, okay, cool, that's crazy. So we ended up, I think it was maybe 6 months after, we flew to LA. And that was my first time ever in LA.
And Headbanger again?
No,
What'd you enter this time?
This time we connected with a company out here.
Smart.
CKF.
Yeah, man.
Cali
the
Kush
big
Farms.
homies.
And we went through some runs with them guys, and I ended up selecting what we should have
What
placed,
mix
we
or
should
whatever
have
you
done.
wanted
Exactly.
to do. Awesome.
And then we came third place in that competition, which was huge for us because it was, we're like, and this is a new territory, new everything, and the people that were in the competition were really the best in the world.
Leaders of the industry.
Leaders of the industry.
Yeah.
And, you know, they opened me up with open arms, and they kind of, you know, showed me around and looked after me a lot.
I like that
that's
you
when-
always say that you always had OGs kind of around you saying, go
Yeah.
for it. You should do this, man. And kind of like giving you that push behind you. You don't hear that a lot from some people. And like, I love that they gave you that. It wasn't a lot of negativity. It was a lot of like, yo, bro, you're the one.
Yeah, man.
You
How
have this.
How do you think you were able to obtain that? Even starting at a young age from like the OGs and shit. Because like certain people got it and certain people don't.
You know what? It's just
I can relate, you know. So I'm just asking you, like, how do you feel that it's worked for you in your life? Because you continue to do it to this day,
yeah.
you know,
I mean,
and you can do it quicker and quicker, right? Probably just takes you, you know what I mean, a lot shorter time now to get
Yeah.
that relationship if you need it now, and
Experience.
it becomes like an art in itself, right?
It is for sure. And it's I'm not too sure how it is. I think it's just could be a DNA thing, or
I think a lot of it too is when you're like, they know, like, I'm down.
yeah.
What's good?
You know what?
I'm
You
down.
can feel your energy as well. I think when you're
Yeah.
ready to
I think it comes
make
down
moves.
to belief
Mhm.
in yourself,
Mhm.
and then commitment to what you're doing.
for sure.
And then the older people see that
yeah.
and know, oh, that's what's special. You know what I mean?
I've
But
always
to continue the story, man, like
Big ups to them though for
Yeah,
actually
straight
saying
up.
some shit and actually pushing you though. A lot of people want to hold their tongue or catch their tongue, right? Not
or
say
the word
something.
about
you have
it's-
them guys
It's
around
not
too.
easy
They're
to. It's
around
not
too.
easy to have hard talks with people, or be the reaper of reality. You know what I'm saying? But
Even on a
for the-
positive.
for the older guys and stuff, definitely. I mean, it's key because look, man, now you're doing it. I know you got
Yeah.
plenty of guys under you learning from you every
Yeah,
single
yeah.
fucking day. But
Every day.
back to the story, you're in Amsterdam. Talk about when you're getting with Jack the Plug and Karma and all that, and you're building this, you know what I mean? And then you decide, hey,
Yeah.
I'm out of here. You know what
So
I mean?
like Jack was my friend from London before any of this happened.
That's fire.
So like we were good friends, and then that's what it was. It was we ended up moving to Spain, to Barcelona, and I was just from, you know, waking up early in the morning, I was processing, and then going to the shop, opening the doors, bartending, then I would help package at the back, and then just nonstop building this kind of, you know, building the brand and building our future. And then it grew so quick that it was, you know, it was just everything started to form, and it became a thing, and people coming from all over the world.
And you mentioned the whole time you're doing it, you really didn't even know what you were doing.
Yeah, it was, you do it, you're doing something, but there's another calling to that doing, you know? It's like, okay, I know I'm doing this.
You're getting
but
this
why am I
vision
even-
from somewhere,
Yeah,
right?
and it's just like, I don't know who it is or what it is, but it's just like it's a voice in it. It's a voice in the back of your head. And
It's kind of crazy, kind of like
It's kinda
manifestation, right?
yeah, and there's something that I'm big on. I'm big on that, because I feel like when you come from where we come from,
It's worked for you.
yeah, you have to believe. Like you have to have
Yeah.
faith, because like you just fold.
That's the first step.
Yeah, and I feel like I had this in me from young because of my childhood and my upbringing. So maybe it comes to that too. But mainly it was about just being. I loved weed so much. I was, you know, you'd come to my house and I'd have 100 jars, personal use. That was me. I'd have different phenos of this, different phenos of that, and I just knew from young I was really about it. I was about it. And everyone around me knew that. I never did anything else I never had a different career path. This was it from like
Some people
minute I
find their
smoked the
calling
joint.
early.
Yeah, I found my calling early, and I never, people, family, get a job, get a normal, this is and I was just ignoring them.
Yeah.
I was just ignoring them.
When did you and Jack, as you guys are grinding, realize like, yo, we got something here out here in Barcelona? Like this shit's real. It's gonna hit. It's hitting.
I mean, I think we knew it anyway before we opened.
Yeah, you were already believing.
We
but
already had
when
the
did you
street
start
rate.
seeing it?
Probably the first Spanabis that when we were there, when the first
That was like the
Spanabis
debut.
came. Yeah, it was just crazy. So I think that Spanabis, I won second place. I think I won 3 awards that same year. So there was other competitions going on. So I was like, so then that was it. It was just like Team 10. And then
What'd you enter and who were you entered with?
I already had Z stuff in Spain.
So
right
you
at the
were
time.
you were with Jack the Plug, but the product was still under Team 10.
The extract.
The extracts were
was,
Team
all
10.
The extract was Team 10.
That's big of him too, bro.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest, because some people could easily be like, no, it's gonna all go under the plug. You know?
Like, as Jack will agree with me, but the Team 10 movement was the reason why a lot of things happened, and the plug, same way that Team 10 wouldn't have been as big as it was if it wasn't for the plug, and the plug wouldn't have been as big as
It made total
what it
sense.
is if it weren't for Team 10. So I feel like that's why it kind of worked.
200%.
You know what I'm saying?
Instead of just 100.
Yeah, and
That's when it works,
Like,
though.
you know,
it can't
Jack-
be 50. You know what
he
I mean?
knew,
It's
like,
got to be 200.
And I believed in his vision too. And I was more than it was just so, it was different times, man. It was different. We was all in different positions in life. So I think when we were at that stage, it was just like, bro, we're doing it. We're actually doing it. And it was like, do you remember when we used to, and do you remember this? And do you remember then, like, yo, this is really happening. And it's just crazy. When I came to LA and won, that was my mind opening. That was okay, cool. This is where you belong. This is the industry that's thriving, that you can be a part of. And that was my move. That was it after that.
So you won in Spanabis.
I won Spanish.
And then do you continue there? Where's it go from there until you get out here?
I was just, and there was loads of competitions out in Spain.
Yeah. So you're crushing them.
Everyone, Valencia, Dabadoos were coming around. I was placing. I won like 24 awards.
Specifically hash cups too. That was your focus.
Yeah, I remember the first. I entered in 2016 the Masters of Legend of Hashish in Barcelona. 2016.
Masters of Rosin? No.
Legends of Hashish.
Legends of Hashish.
Yeah, and that was 2016, and I entered cheese dry sift rosin that I pressed on my t-shirt press at the time at home. But
Make sure you include that because people need to know, man.
Yeah, that was
Think about that. They want to
The realities of
hand
things
squeeze
are different than what you assume.
in my bedroom.
Yeah.
And you only know that from experience.
And
Yeah. So with the t-shirt press in the bedroom,
Yeah,
you over there taking down awards.
any way
some UK
possible.
cheese.
Yeah,
You know,
of course. I mean, we
quality.
were sifting at the time. That was like when we was using screens. So I had loads of sift that I'd store in the freezer and whatever. I'd just sift to do the magnetic tech with the DVD case and the parchment paper. So we was like separating the tracks.
Boy, if you don't know, man, this was
Doing
way
all that
before
stuff.
It's
your
when
time.
you
Yeah.
have passion before
Wait,
you
this was
got
before
the tech
Instagram?
and all the other.
No, it wasn't. It was like, this was 2016. So we already had a social media platform at that point. But I remember entering and I was
This was before it was a thing.
before
that's for
rosin
sure.
was a thing, 2016, this is 5-6 years ago.
People were not
Yeah.
giving up tech at this
Nah.
point either. A
Nah,
lot of
they weren't.
time, people were keeping that shit. Even with BHO, we're
Yeah.
keeping that shit close to the vest.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, you
And,
definitely had to steal some sketchy shit.
So we entered and then we came first place, I think, People's Choice. And I think it was BC Bubbleman and Tony Vazora that handed me my award.
Wow, big time. And
So-
that was with the cheese.
That was with the cheese.
Oh, that must have
UK
been
cheese.
fantastic smoke.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And that's when that was a legendary competition too. So I just, after that, I felt it was my time to go.
Move again. Progress again.
Yeah.
Another level.
And so you came out here,
I come out here.
Los Angeles,
What
California.
was the first experience like when you touched down?
So it was the first time I ever come was the competition weekend. So I was busy preparing, processing, meeting people. It was crazy. I was here for 2 weeks, I think.
What did you feel like when you got off the plane first time?
The first time, it was like a movie,
You
man.
felt that energy, right?
Yeah, the energy is crazy.
You know what's crazy? We come from another state and like we feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's real out here.
It's hard to explain, right? And it's been messed with a little bit. We won't speak on that too much, but your first time,
Yeah,
you got off that plane. What's going through your head, bro?
made it.
Hollywood.
Like, yo, this is it now.
I made it.
Yeah, yo, I
Hollywood.
touched ground. Now it's over.
Yeah, so weird energy here. Great energy, full of you couldn't just execute your idea here and it just will fall through all the way.
It can happen. This can
all the way.
happen.
This
Room
is
full
the-
of people that'll get it
We
done.
can do
Yeah,
this.
man, this is the place to be if
It
you want to
is.
achieve your goals and work on your dreams. And that's people come to LA for all those types of reasons, plus more. So coming from a restricted society and then coming here, it was like I felt it was freedom. That's what it feels like. Felt like, bro, I'm free. I'm free. I'm not
Crazy.
going back.
For creatives.
Crazy.
Yeah.
For
it just
creatives,
shows you,
yeah.
Free to
And,
create, free to live,
Yeah, if you feel like
free to enjoy the plant.
it feels
the
like
herb.
jail when you go back now. It's like a brick wall. Like you're in a house. Like the UK is like a house to me. I'm just stuck in the house and I can't. And just about look out the window.
And even then, you're still kind of a little bit eerie, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I guess it all depends, man, on the experience.
It's not far off from Florida as well. Like we
Yeah.
came up in Florida, and I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest. Like when I came up in early 2000s, it wasn't far off from that, bro. Like
Mhm.
it was not cool to show up to somewhere smelling like weed.
yeah,
Like you would get people give us looks then, and then we were worried that like did they write our license plate number down, and like just weird, just smelling like weed
Yeah.
was like.
same.
You know,
Yeah.
and so it was the same thing. Like I always tell Pack Gods, I was told this quote one time, and it rings true today: is that go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated.
Yeah.
And it's so true, man.
You have to, and you know, you want to progress in that field.
Especially as a creative, bro. You're a big creative, so
Yeah.
this is like the empire of creatives. I mean,
sure,
it's fucking
for sure.
crazy.
So you touched ground. What was your first experience like? Your first trip?
The first trip, yeah, again was the competition week, and then after that was over, that's when we actually went and opened the plug in Spain after that competition. So we had a lot of that's when I had a lot of clout from the US, a lot of people on social media following me from here, and then we opened, and then it was like a wave of people that I met when I was here were coming to see me. And then, yeah, it just grew and grew and grew. And I came back again on a vacation for the second time. I think it was 3 or 4 times before I made the final move, if I'm not mistaken.
Must have been hard having a successful business and wanting to then move
In
away
one place
from
and
it.
then move away from
Yeah,
it.
that's very difficult.
I know. Part of me still regrets a little bit of it, but I'm lucky that I had family to control it and good friends. You know what I'm saying?
They kept it real.
Kept the torch light. But I knew I was good. So then after that, I come here, and then that's when I meet my wife, who's my wife today. And then I settle down, we get married, and then that's when I never went back.
If you don't mind me asking, man, I just want to go back to that. What inside you was telling you, like, I have a successful business, I have this clout, we won a bunch of awards, we have a successful business that I'm running with like my good friend, right?
Yep.
This is not enough. I need to go further. I need to go to LA and like start over almost, like to some degree, right? Like, where you just knew that
it
was the
wasn't
next
even about
move?
money, bro. It wasn't about finances or anything like that. It was more about I had something in my belly that was
Freedom.
Like this fire that had to just come out of me. And I knew, I don't know if I should say it in that way, but I felt like I worked I put in so much work that I belong somewhere else. I don't even belong there. You know what I'm trying to say?
I do, because
I need to move, get out of there. So this can really happen. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. So do it now. And that's kind of really what it was. I always knew that this industry was where I was supposed to belong. I've been doing this like my whole life. So I was always, that was like, everyone has a destiny. That was always my destiny, I feel. But it was just, I think the fire inside and the hunger to succeed. And once I saw that, you know, the shop's going good, and I was like, this is, I'm going to go and do my dream now.
I love that, man.
That's dope, because you guys are still good homies today. You put us in touch. We said what's up to him when we were out in Amsterdam. Shout out to Jack the Plug.
Yeah.
He's one of the 10 licenses in Amsterdam.
Killing shit. Out there with Karma Genetics, them boys are killing shit straight up.
Yeah, there's a lot to come from that side, that camp.
100%.
But look what you found. So you come out here, you met your wife. I mean, boom.
I met my wife.
Right there.
Talk to us after that. Like,
yeah. So,
give us a Skittles story, man.
Damn. That's a story, man.
Well, what are you smoking when you land? Yeah, well, yeah. If you can give us a story.
So I had a lot of connections up in NorCal. So I would travel backwards and forwards, and I would find it. They would find me. It was the
law of attraction.
The law of attraction. And at one point, it was really finding me. Not every day. People that I never knew were reaching out, and like, yo,
they were finding. They were like, this guy will get it. He'll take them for sure.
Yeah, I mean, at the time I was kind of like,
no, it's dope though.
Yeah,
we were all in on it.
Yeah, I was really, and I was on the hunt for it. Anything Z related, I was,
What's crazy is how long ago that was.
Yeah.
And how relevant it is right now.
Very difficult to get a hold of then too. I mean, we were
hard now.
Thousands. It is
hard now.
Then it was near impossible.
Yeah, for sure. Near. And, we ended up getting, we've had the cut for ages. Loads of people have the cut. But I just think because we're consistent, people are going to get upset, and I respect that too. But yeah, it's just the game. That's just everyone.
Not a lot of people want to grow it. It's very difficult.
That's the beauty of having it, I suppose.
I think a lot of people have gotten it, run it 1 or 2 times, and then been like, nope, not for me.
Yeah.
And it's because it's very difficult. On like a level 1 to 10, it's like a 9, 10.
Yeah.
On like how hard it is to grow.
The weeping willow.
Yeah, that's what we joke about. We were at the Queen's at the Palace, and across Palace. And there's this huge weeping willow. And I said, over here we got Skittles growing. It's literally very difficult, but once you figure it out, you get it. Like right now I have some moms going of it, and I'm like, I got it dialed like a dial. Yeah. But yeah, I got you.
And I mean, so that was really kind of it. I just, again, I'm
Skittles.
I'm a hunter. So I'm going to go and hunt. No matter what it is, if it's good, it's going to stay with me.
Straight up.
And a lot of people have it, as I said, and I think the branding pushed it a lot as well. But the product speaks to itself at the end of the day. It is what it is.
When did blue come in? I mean, because that's really, to be honest, that's like steroids injected into Skittles, and now you got this.
So I've had Zushi in rotation now for about 3 years. I have a partnership with somebody that we work together. We've been working strong for a long time. The relationship's great. And then Master Growers, they've been doing it for a long time. And obviously being not from here, I wasn't, I never knew many people in the beginning. And that was it. I just gave them the guidance that they needed. And then they kind of, helped me grow basically and push me. I think
partnerships are like that, man, or good projects, collabs.
Yeah. That was like a true blessing to me. Because it was at a time when some people did me dirty, and that was like God was giving me my karma back, like my good karma.
You got a blessing.
I got a blessing, yeah.
Out of the blessing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and this relationship's been strong for 3 years, and it's it's about to grow right now.
It usually has to happen like that.
Yeah, for sure. Man.
Interesting.
I'm just grateful.
Evolution.
Yeah, I'm just grateful that it's come all this way. That it's still going strong, you know.
Did you know as soon as you saw the blue?
No.
Like you were like, this is
No.
Okay, you didn't know.
No.
Ah.
I'll tell you why I didn't know. Because I had Z at the time. And that wasn't white Z.
Yes.
And it wasn't until I really pushed my grower to dialing it in more and getting them to. They used to have like a lot of light burn on it, and they used to have issues before, and they steered away from the issues, and then started dialing it in, and that's when the Nobu batches started coming around, and it's just a constant. I'm
gonna definitely need a Nobu back.
Yeah, I got you, man. It's just a constant. It's a relationship, so. You know, if your wife your wife pisses you off or you piss her off and you don't say something, she's gonna keep pissing you off. Thanks. So it's kind of like that where I'm just like, yo, this is Can we make this and that's like the beauty of my infrastructure. It's simple because they're ahead of their curve.
When you're coming up with that process, is that just you smoking the joint and then kind of running it through? What is this like? Like what what's your creative process with that?
So Zushi was, I created Zushi, the whole concept. Some of them are ideas that me and Jerry kind of designed together. And then he's had some input in names too. So really it's just between me and my designer.
Smelling the batch, smoking it, smelling it, smoking it.
Kinda, yeah. Zushi was just something that I wanted to. I feel like because everyone at the time was leaning towards the candies and the sweets, the dessert stuff. So I felt like Zushi was just a whole new concept, and at the time, no one did any Japanese concept in the cannabis industry at all. That I saw, especially.
I mean, sushi too is so different,
and people wouldn't really go that route. You know, it was more like it was a bit of a gamble.
You even embraced the logo with it too, real trippy.
Yeah,
cool.
And then that was the evolution from there. Once I created the name,
you just knew.
Yeah, we had the cans first. We dropped the cans, and then I started pushing that, and it grew, and I was like, no, I need a transformation. I need a rebrand. At the time, I met Jerry, who's my designer now, and we were like backwards and forwards with a few ideas. And then I think once we realized that we work better together when we sit down together and just go and keep going.
Yeah.
Figuring out your creative process.
Yeah. That's when it starts to work. So even like 2-3 years later, he'll be like, yo, let's have a creative session on Sunday where I'll just come over, I'll bring his laptop and we just brainstorm and come up for new concepts, new ideas, because we have so many new strains coming out as well. So we're already working towards the future now.
But you set times. I like that. Me and Pat Gods do the same thing. And I think that's a big thing for people to know. It's not just, hey, when we sit down and we come up with ideas randomly, you set like, hey, let's vibe out on Sunday and come up with some stuff.
And he's with me every day too. We have an office together. So he's with me from Monday to Sunday, basically. And that's part of the growth that I think why the brand's got so much exposure is because we're always keeping it fresh, revamping. They fake our bags, we make a new bag, they fake it again, we make it again. And then now we're just sort of adding the things that are going to give them a harder time, so give me a longer run with the bag. And again, it's like the bag's not important, but the product's the most important thing. That's the key, okay? Once you get that right, then you can talk about packaging all you like, okay? And that's what, if the product isn't good, the packaging is irrelevant. I've tested the waters many times and I've put, a not so great product, not on purpose, just that batch never came out. It wasn't hitting as good. I didn't, I might have passed the issue and people will complain about it and that bag not wanted anymore. Just from that one mistake.
Straight up.
And so, I mean, as much of it as much as the game is a bad game right now, it's also still the product is number one. The bag is irrelevant if it ain't matching
the product. The product's one. The bag comes number two
for sure. And yeah, it's the QC.
And then if you don't get number one right,
level.
you got the number two, the bag. You might as well just say fuck it because people aren't trusting after that.
That's why you got to know you're getting the right shit, man. Because people can ruin it for you.
Yeah.
Well, I would say there's a lot of people that are confused that are getting fake product. 100%.
Yeah, I've had the biggest
1,000%
biggest issues.
I'd say you guys are getting knocked off the
everywhere.
hardest.
Yeah. It's stressful.
Some, obviously some brands right along next with you.
It is because people judge you on it. They'll be like, this shit ain't smoking. What are people talking about? And it's like, no, that shit is smoking. You got the, the bushi.
The foo-foo.
The purple,
the purple Zushi. I see people tagging
the purple. Yeah.
Blue bag.
Ain't even dropped yet, man.
Nugs. I'm like, damn.
We ain't even smoked that yet.
It's just people need to know, man. Go to the homies page and actually check out what they got and look at what the weed looks like, though. Yeah. That's probably the best way. I can always look at shit and be like, this don't look like that. That's number one.
We had stopped posting up flour on our page because every time I do, it will bring me up a message saying your account's about to be deleted.
And Instagram, man.
So now I'm in the transitioning process and we're building the shop.
So soon people can just come out and go to the shop, though. That's even
that's the beauty of that. We'll be able to channel our our fan base and our people that follow us to the store as well, which
we'll definitely be able to talk about that too, man, because there's some dope things you can do with the website and the app that make it fun for everybody that like supports what you're doing. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah,
talk about, just to rewind a little bit, talk about like getting to LA and like what it takes to make it in LA. Like, be real, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause I know for us, like we moved out here, like not to talk about us too much, but when we moved out here, it was us living in a house with 4 of us and we had the basement, you know what I'm saying? You feel me? So that was kind of where we started, but like, talk about like making it in LA and like just a different type of,
the double hustle.
I don't know if I can say too much.
Yeah. But, say what you can.
I mean, it's hard. I feel like because I already built my platform, I had a solid platform ready when I came here. So it was not easy for me, but it's still work. You weren't
starting from nothing.
No, not when I came here.
You're starting from experience.
I was already doing it. I feel that in my life, not with what we got going on now, but at that time. So it was kind of easier for me to get in the doorway with certain people, groups of people being.
But you had something to prove, though. It was like, yo, it's on you now.
The pressure
you're here now. You know what I mean? Like,
pressure was on.
Were you still Team 10 Extracts at that point when you came out here first? Were you weren't Tenco yet, right?
No, I wasn't Tenco, but I was Team 10 the first time.
Yeah. So you're out here and you're linking with all the right homies and all shit, the big OGs,
the biggest names.
Yeah.
How were you able to kind of navigate and find your way? Was it just being at the events? And
I think the events was partly the foundation of it, and then you go and you network and you get their number and start talking, and then they're like, they start respecting once they realize
you're for real. You're taking a professional.
Yeah,
committed.
Yeah, for sure.
You were able to see people's work too, so you could be like, oh, this company puts out shit, or like, yo, this company's putting out fire. Yeah, like that was for us. It's like,
yo, come look at this.
There and then,
look at this.
There and then you could tell.
We would be like, yo, we need to collab. Literally, we would work collabs right there. I remember, like, yo, they're doing fire, bro. Smoke this, and you try, and you'd be like, yo, we gotta do a collab.
It's true.
Wow.
Yeah, that. I mean, I think winning the competition here, the first competition here, was what really opened the door for me in LA, because I built my reputation and my name. So if I was to try, if I ever needed to get to someone, I could now DM them and they'll reply. It was like I had a blue check, but I didn't have a blue check.
What strains are you rocking with right now? Like when you first certified. At this time, when you came out here,
in LA?
Was it Skittles at that point when you're
still Skittles? Yeah,
got you.
Still Skittles. I was like the biggest Skittles fan, so I was making sure I had Skittles. But then there was a blue sherbet as well.
Ooh, great strain.
LK was one of the first people I met here too.
Hey, shout out to the homie Sure Money, man.
Yeah, that blue sherbet was great times. And then like I knew Cookie Monster, rest in peace. So he used to bless me a lot.
Rest in peace, man.
I used to go up there, meet him, give me F1 Durban, Junos.
Juno.
I was at the time
Early.
in LA. It was OG season for everyone, and I was like, oh, man, I was kind of like, I've been there already,
Yeah, we felt
and
that.
I felt like
We were feeling the same way, bro.
yeah. So I was going up north and exploring what they had up there,
Flavors.
their exotics. Yeah,
Yep,
so I was
cookies.
tapped in, bro. I
Yeah.
was tapped in.
Did the cookies wave hit out in the UK like how
Yeah,
it did?
yeah, big.
Yeah, that was massive.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And you got, like, again, OGs around you. So you got good people to work with
Yeah.
and good people to bounce ideas off with and create with. That's so important, man.
They're ahead of their game. They're LA growers for 20 plus years.
Straight
They're
up.
crushing it.
So how big is it? How big are we talking?
Like light wise or what?
It's about 50,000 square feet.
Wow.
One of the buildings.
Just to put it in
Oh,
perspective.
Cow.
Yeah.
That's the
I
thing.
think it's a little under actually, 43 something.
How many
Jeez.
lights are
That's
you
a-
expecting for like R&D?
There's about 80 lights for just R&D.
Jimmy Iovine says things like this, and it reminds me of what you just said. Jimmy Iovine, he's a famous music producer, and then obviously Beats by Dre. He's a part of that, but he says with like Trent Reznor and all these people, he's like, I just make myself of use, saying like, I'm just there to help you, whatever you need, but I'm not there to get in your way,
Yeah,
right? Like, so what do you need so that I can help you and just be of use, of service, and that's the best thing someone can give.
You need like pointers, like this is what needs to be done. This is how you're gonna do it. Then next.
Not don't do that, don't do this.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think of it? Yeah.
The good
I
thing
love
is with
that.
me is that because I'm in it, I know what's hot, what's not, what's coming next. That's my job. So I'm already immediate. If we have like the Scotties in the room,
But you're that in tune. And some people think about how far out some of these CEOs and guys are running these
Well-
cannabis businesses.
Well, listen. Something
not
I,
raised.
something I want to make a point to is that if you're a grower, you don't get out of the grow much, but if you're making a brand and you're having to be in tune with all these things that
can't do
is
both.
moving the culture, you need that connection.
Mhm.
You can't do both. At scale, you can't. Now, at a smaller level, at a hobby level, I would say, yes, you can.
It's like the coach
but at
can't.
scale, it's like, how could you have time when like,
The coach
that's
can't
full-time.
fight. The coach can't fight anymore. That's
Yeah.
what it is. The coach can't fight.
coach can't run the
anymore.
play?
But he can show the play. He can show you how to do it. And that's the position we're in right now.
Yeah.
but
Absolutely.
it takes being
It
that
takes trust
deep.
within the team.
That's the most important thing is building that team.
How do you make sure you like communicate and keep the team culture tight?
Just giving them like an end goal, really. Just like
You build
we're gonna
hope for
get
them.
here. I mean, yeah, but real hope, not like false hope.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that?
bullshitter.
So in a professional relationship, it would be equity, right? I suppose. But in a friendship,
At a partner level.
at a partner level, but in a friendship would just be sticking to your word at the end of the day.
100%.
Like if maybe they want to get more finances and it could be anything. Could be anything. It's just
No, it's like you said though, you just sticking to your word.
sticking
Simple
to
as
your
that.
word, yeah, and being real and being loyal to that person too, and not bringing someone else in if he's pissed you off one day and then hurting his feelings, and just that small things start building up within animosity, like between the relationships, and create animosity. So just from the get go, I feel just be solid with your partners and whoever you're working with, and it's very
difficult.
What do you feel
Very
about all the competition within this industry?
I love it.
I'm glad you
I
said
love
that.
it. I'm competitive.
I'm honestly glad you said that because I'm thankful that you're owning it, that you do love it, because I'll be honest, anybody making a post or anybody saying anything, like at some level, you love it.
fuels
It's
me.
yeah. And the response is like,
I don't want to tell
oh
my
shit,
haters.
here we
I
go.
don't want to tell my
You're
haters.
up early the next morning.
Yeah.
I swear.
I don't want to tell my haters, keep hating on me because it's going to fuel me more. I'll just let them carry on. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You always, once you reach that level, you're going to have that. You're gonna have them down people talking down or bad about you or whatever. But it just makes me go harder because I know what I'm doing, I know what I've built right now, and you know,
you have your game plan laid out.
Yeah, it's already laid out,
and you feel it coming together.
Ready for the next plan.
You ready for the next plan already?
Yeah.
Talk to me about it. That's good.
There's a lot going on, man.
Man, I mean, you brought us dope ass skateboard decks. You got the gear laid out. You got a real designer. I know he's on staff.
Yeah. Big up Jerry. He's
you got your growers dialed in, your partners are dialed in, the store is launching. You're going to be able to release merch to the people now and really do some dope shit. I mean, what are some things that
really, right now the merch is what we're working hard towards because it's
online, right? Online presence, right?
So we have ZushiWave.com.
Yeah.
And KeepIt10.com coming out. And then we have the 10co.com coming out, which is for the store.
Let's go.
So yeah,
and that'll be a delivery on the back end of that, correct? So you can order.
You'll be able to order soon.
Huge.
There'll be some other delivery services too with the carrying our stuff, but mainly once that infrastructure is laid out and set up, then it's all in house. Really, that's the goal. 100%. That's the dream, in it, for everyone, I suppose.
Absolutely.
You don't want to be paying integrated.
No, you need in house so that you can have control over the quality.
Exactly.
And the creative process. I mean,
it's the most important.
And the time frames.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
That's the issue.
Multiple things.
Yeah. I mean, but I just want to reiterate the point that I talk to a lot of investors, bro, that are so far off from knowing the culture and from actually street level of knowing, you're in there calling plays, Biscotti's not doing well. People aren't smoking it right now. Pull it out of the garden. Mm-hmm. They're in there what clones are available for next run. And it's straight. I mean, it is, there's such a gap there that these guys need people. They need tastemakers like you, like I, like some of the, like Pack Gods, like some of these people. And they're so far off, you guys. I know you don't stay around those guys, so you don't see it as much as I do. I'm gonna be honest. I talk to a lot of investors. I've been courted by outsiders. They are so far removed from what you're talking about.
Yep.
They need someone in that position, and they're so far off. They don't even know they need someone in that position, right? A tastemaker, a leader.
We spoke to Joa, episode 22.
Okay.
And he was saying he compared it to skateboarding. So you can't buy into the culture. It's like I could put Snoop Dogg on a bag. If the weed is shit, it won't sell. Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just I think that's what's lacking. Even I just linked up with a homie that came from Michigan that came to talk to me and stuff. That's in a group that I have together, and he's showing me things, and I'm just letting him know, look, who are you focused on? And a lot of people aren't focused on the culture because the culture lives within the youth.
They're focused on the numbers. They're numbers guys.
Mm-hmm.
But those numbers aren't adding up anymore. That's the issue. You know,
what to do. If you need a consultant, hit my DM.
Right? Damn, you're for hire? Hold up.
Money talks.
Okay. Yeah, right. Same with, right. Let's money or percentages on the right business. But it just shows you, though, you got to have
equity
that guy.
if you believe in it. You know what I mean?
The dreams to be, to be sold, not told.
Yeah, there we
go. Literally. Hey.
But it's real, bro. And it's real to touch the streets and know the moves. Like you're saying, Biscotti, I realize that, bro. There's that you're speaking to something that a lot of people aren't going to understand, but it's knowing the culture so much that you see the moves happening as they're happening.
People that are hands-on are going to know right away. And that's the core fan base of this.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
As we keep building it up, it'll spawn more out. But I think the biggest thing we're dealing with is mass consumer confusion.
Yeah.
They think they're getting something. It's really not that.
Yep.
Or, they've been fooled into thinking this is the best, and it's how would you know if you haven't been anywhere else? How would you know if your town has the best food if you've never been to any other town?
Yep.
Boom.
Exactly.
And the thing that I got to give you mad props and credit on is that the whole Euro series was just you feeding me layups.
Yeah,
literally, because
who to talk to.
It wasn't that you
there weren't many people. There's not many people to talk to.
No, but you directed me straight to the people. These are the guys.
Quality over quantity.
And at a sense though, it was like they welcomed me in like family, and I was like, wow, man, like I can tell you live there because you spend a lot of time with these people. Like you got real deep relationships with like all these people that you had linked me with. And I was just like, man, like, you know, you realize why you have such good perspective in the things that you're seeing and the things that you know, like, oh, the patterns you're able to predict now when things are rolling out or things are coming together. And you know, like, oh, they're going to be on this. This is what's next right here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What do you think the next wave in weed is? Like, not saying Tenko, but just weed, right? What we've kind of called it. Yeah. And just like the next, flavors. You got any thoughts on that? Like where it's going?
I think right now it's Z hybrids. I think that's been a thing for a minute.
Yep. Like runts, we see that, a bunch of different stuff. Rainbow belts.
Shout out to Ray Obama.
Yep, Ray Obama. But it's a bunch of Skittles crosses, but they lean more towards the purple side and still have a sweet. Yeah.
I've said this the other day. I'm really need something new, something brand new that
Me too,
man. Never tasted.
I think we had the fruit, then we had the gas.
Yeah.
And I think we need them both now. I think we need something that's gassy and then also sweet.
I'm going through a bunch of Sherbanger seeds right now, which is the Sunset Sherbet times Headbanger. I'm smoking it now, actually. Props to that camp. But I'm excited to find some keepers out of that because they're both Sunset Sherbet to me was my first like purple exotic that I liked, because before that I never liked purple strains for some reason. They just never really did it for me. But it was like the real Sherb was it.
And that times Headbanger.
That's what made you like
that times sour Headbanger from Karma. That's just the two alone.
It's just about finding the right pheno at that point, something that's a balance that represents both.
I'm not gonna lie to you. We have so many new seeds right now that have been bred for us for this project that we're excited to go through. A lot of strains that are just crossed over, back crossed, you know.
And I can't wait to see your influence coming in from back home, right? The cheeses, the sours, all this stuff that I think a lot of us aren't as familiar with, right?
Yeah, for sure. So, we got that too. We got the cheese here too.
Ooh,
we're gonna run with that.
The real one.
The real one. Hope.
Wow.
I mean, let's hope. So
I'm sure you can get to it.
It's out
there
it yet,
right?
We're about to. Yeah, I mean, it's available. There's some old school guys that still have the original mums.
That was the seeds I bought when we were in Amsterdam. Me and Pat Gods, when we went to Amsterdam, I think I spent like $1,000, €1,000 on just cheese seeds.
Really, yeah.
About 5 different versions. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to be able to get them in like clone form back in the day in the UK. They were easily available, but that market crashed. No one wanted it anymore, and people wanted, I think Super Lemon Haze came around and then kind of pushed it to the side.
It was amnesia.
Amnesia was
a lot of amnesia over there in the Holland.
Yeah.
I think they stopped then, right? It got like real strict then. So then whatever version they were on at that point, that's basically what they got.
Yeah.
So they were in this weird haze phase. We're not weird. It's great phase, but the amnesia one is not my favorite of the hazes, to be dead honest. But I feel like they were in that phase and then they got hella strict. So whatever clones you're running right then, that's what you got. Right. So it doesn't progress much. So now 10 years later, they're still running the same shit. You know, a lot of them.
I don't know how true this is, but I've been told by like real old school growers that the reason why amnesia is so predominant in Amsterdam and Europe is because it doesn't get PM.
Oh, interesting.
It's like the purple punch of Europe.
Yeah.
And she doesn't
Except for it goes 85, 90 days, right?
Yeah. And it doesn't have any issues, and it can just be, thrown in any type of environment.
That would make a lot of sense, bro.
That's why.
And that's why there's ice cream cakes
still around. Nah, but I actually just transplanted the original Cuban Black Haze clone in my garden yesterday. It is. It's real. And then also grapefruit chem. Chem Dog times the original grapefruit.
Nice,
So I thought you'd get appreciate for. Yeah, I'm gonna start doing some hazes.
Yeah, no, fire. I miss like the old school Neville's hazes and that we used to get.
We got to enjoy some of that with Karma.
Yeah.
Super fire.
I want a head
green
stash
spoon.
jar for us.
We
You
rolled
have
up
the green spoon.
we rolled up a worm.
Yeah, I see it.
You brought some
Old school hash.
Yeah.
They said this. You think that could get big, right? So like right now we got worms, but they're with hash rosin, right? So
Yeah.
you're talking it's like $150 to $200 joint.
Yeah.
What if we did hash, but it's bubble, right? And
Yeah.
like how, because we were enjoying the bubble as a worm, right?
Yeah.
It's a way cheaper version for the end
Before the
consumer.
donut. That
Could
was-
be big, man. That could be like a real big thing out here. I feel like because with all these farms in Humboldt, you could make bubble and create a really good split. I guess it wouldn't be a split. It's a donut,
Yeah.
and it's way cheaper than 200. I mean, because
Compared to the rosin.
we were loving them. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting, man. It's just it's a different take on it, right?
Yeah. And it's that full spectrum high, you know?
Exactly.
It's a different high. It's more couch locking for sure.
There's a product right there for somebody. I mean, hitting the market.
That shit hit me.
The donut
big
wave
time.
is crazy. Big up Bobby Trill for creating the donut because he's the originator.
I know you laid that down and told us the
Yeah.
first time, and we didn't know that. Huge shout out, Bobby Trill, Trilogy 710 is the creator of the donut.
Yeah. Facts.
That's
Damn.
Facts.
Bobby Trill.
We used to smoke.
You know what's
Boom.
crazy? We just
Like
spoke
that.
to him,
episode.
and he didn't claim
never
the fame.
mentioned
He
that.
did not claim the fame. Of course, my man didn't.
He's humble.
I was just with him on the strip smoking,
My guy.
and shout out to my guy, man, for real. That's brother for real.
Let's just show you rolled up a worm, stuck it in a joint, rolled it around it, and then you can see that
and
thing
you know
burning.
what? And you know what? There's many brands and many names and many different versions now, and they're all fire, like straight up. And it's true. It's like if you haven't smoked the donut or you're not smoking donuts in 2021, then you know what I'm saying. I don't know what you're doing.
Very
Yeah.
true.
I don't know if you're really smoking.
Very true.
It's like the
Hash hole, all
Oh,
that
it's
shit, like
fire.
everything.
if you're a dabber, especially too, because like as me coming from dabber, I love flower joints, but that's like flower joint. But I also, you're used to that potency of the dab,
Yeah.
so you got to get, that experience.
It's all about the
Yeah.
plant. That's what it is.
And yeah,
Passionate to the plant. I love
Yeah.
that, bro.
100%.
Yeah, it's
I
great.
already know. Anything
Great
to
to
the
be
young guys, people just starting, people starting their brands up right now that want to hop in the game, that are inspired by you. You inspire a lot of people, man.
Yeah, just believe in you. Just believe in yourself, innit? That's the main thing. If you don't believe in yourself, no one's gonna believe you. But you just gotta work very hard and keep pushing in the direction where you want to get to. Just keep going that way
So have a vision, believe in
You need a
yourself, and have a vision.
for sure. And have a good team. Build. You can build your. It might take you 5, 10, 15 years, but you have to filter people. You have to filter them out. You have to select which ones you're going to take with you. And that's the key to this journey. I feel.
100%.
And
Straight
Yeah,
up. 100%.
big word from the OG.
Straight up, man. Big game, the 10Co. We
Team
appreciate
10.
you, Big 10, for real.
Yeah,
Blessing us
thank
with
you
this
for having
one.
me, man.
Straight up. This wasn't easy to get. We were going to drop episode 10. It's episode 27. And, took us some time, but we got it.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming up here, man. And we're looking forward to the opening. When this drops, I think you'll be right around the corner from opening. We'll definitely be out there with the cameras.
Yeah,
And
for sure, man.
And
gotta
we
hype this shit
personally
up.
enjoy your flowers, bro. I'm gonna
Oh,
be
for
honest.
sure.
Like,
Appreciate it.
we love smoking your
Yeah.
flowers. So
Appreciate
that's
it.
what I'm smoking. It's what I'm fucking with.
we love it, bro. We love the whole
100%.
movement.
And
We're
we
with
all,
the
we all
Zush.
have our phases and waves. And I'm ready for something new, too.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you where it's just
Coming.
like, damn, we're all ready for the new. You know what I mean?
It's
Straight
coming.
up. So you already know it's first smoke of the day, wrapping up episode 27, the 10Co, Black
White-
Leaf,
White
Pat Gods.
ashes.
Keep it 10.
Let's go. Keep it 10.